Candice. Good morning to all of you. We've been hearing about AI and its disruption and technologies. Let me try and take this to in the government's context. If you look at it, the evolution of application of technology in government has really kept pace with the developments in the technology. If you look towards the infrastructure, the digital infrastructure for the government has, over the last 3 decades or even more, has really transformed into to make all these things available. Today, if you say Government of India has its own multi-gigabit network, they have their own mail service, they have their own cyber emergency response team, they have their own cloud. Now, with the availability of all this infrastructure, the applications have also kept pace. The digital solutions also have kept pace. I remember 3 decades ago, we all began with those desktop applications, moved on to client server, then to web-based, browser-based technologies, and then slowly moved to mobile governance. And today we have all these cloud-enabled things. And what in this journey today we have, where cloud has been one of the biggest enabler. It has really helped us making systems where we can really, this whole caption or dream of one nation, one platform has become a reality. You've been able to, and as NIC and otherwise, we've been able to develop today a large number of systems. In fact, a number of Government of India programs which have been launched under Digital India in the last 4 to 5 years have been actually born digital. They're digital from their concept to commission. And there is only one platform which is being used across the entire country, whether it is housing for all, whether it is Swachh Bharat, whether it is employment guarantee, or whether it is fertilizer subsidy. They are single platforms, whether it is driving license, or whether it is public distribution, whether it is ration card registry, they all have become kind of, because of the single platform, because of the cloud, now they are big data registries. Now, with this kind of data registries, we are actually in a position to leapfrog and take advantage of all these new exponential or emerging technologies which is coming in. Whether it is machine learning, whether it is deep learning, whether it is blockchain, or whether it is cognitive computing, or all these voice assistants. All these things need a good quality, reliable, huge collection of data. And with this, all the work we have done, we are in a position to really leverage on these technologies. But the point is that this new set of technologies, as was being spoken in the morning, are really going to give you an absolutely new generation of applications. They will give you the new way. In fact, they'll bring the profound change in which you will develop the e-governance systems or citizen services. They will actually now, they're in a position, if applied correctly, can actually challenge the status quo. They can make many of those things which we always used to think impossible, they can make them possible. They also enable you, cloud and all these technologies together also enable every government servant to think of doing any innovation, think out of the box, because whatever initial ingredients you know are now readily available to you. Let me just try and this little down and give you 2-3 examples so that you understand what we all have been talking about since morning. We have a Center of Excellence in NIC on artificial intelligence. They've been working on this image recognition and computer vision and all those things. So the Government of India has a program called Swachh Bharat, where they give subsidy for making the toilets. And this program, there is the applicant or beneficiary has to upload the geocoded pictures at different stages of that construction of a toilet. And similar kind of approach has been adopted in a number of programs, whether it is housing or even employment guarantee scheme, where this pictures and this thing is there. Now what happens when you upload your picture every time, it is being reviewed by an officer or an official at one point. And each of these pictures have guidelines that you should have this kind of a picture, you should have a face there, and you should have a toilet seat and things like this. Many a times, people at the ground who are not aware of these guidelines will put up pictures which are not. Sometimes the door will be closed, So toilet seat can be seen, sometimes the face is covered, the beneficiary cannot be seen, and this used to have a lot of delay because every time application is getting into rejection and then they've been explained, put the new picture, sometimes second time picture also doesn't come correct because there's a huge communication which goes till the beneficiary. So we tried to do an experiment where we said, okay, when this picture, when the person is trying to upload the picture, in that time itself, we'll explain him that your picture is not up to the mark. This is what it is missing. And make him do iteration while he's trying to upload the picture so that we are 100% sure or whatever 99% sure that this picture which is going is at per the specification of the government. And using all kind of these super computing infrastructure which we have set up and this deep learning and all this, finally we will able to get an algorithm through which we are able to detect to 99.5 or some percent of accuracy. We've now deployed this thing. Now this itself is going to, and now this algorithm can be used for housing, this can be used for many other such government programs. But what I'm saying is that you can challenge the status quo. So what we are now trying to talk to the government, I've asked this team to talk to, that this officer, what happens many a times after this, the officer has, when they look at the application, everything is right, that at some times they make the field visit. And then they say yes, and the application moves further. And the point is that, and this again causes delay. So we're saying that let us understand what is this person goes on and sees on the ground. Can today's AI help me giving him answers to all his concerns and give him a kind of a confidence, yes, what you're looking for, everything I can conclude by the input which I have received in terms of picture, or if there's any other thing to be received, collected, we'll collect. But can we avoid that field visit? So supposing if we avoid these, that means what we're saying, application will go through without any, without any human intervention, and then you can have, like we have in our taxes, all of us pay taxes, which is on self-assessment and self-understanding, and later on there's a random inspection. If there's something wrong, you've been asked to pay more and all as a random selection. So can we do this kind of, so if we do these kind of things, you see the whole beneficiary programs will go a paradigm change, the way things are being processed and the way whole machinery is happening on the ground. So this is one such example. Let me give you another example, blockchain. Now, blockchain can really give you a different order of trust and transparency, whether it is your property registration, whether it is your educational certificates, and it can really give you huge traceability. Spurious drugs, spurious liquor is a huge problem in our country. The good thing is that many of these systems are already digitized. They are onto a common platform because of cloud and all. So can you now put this thing so that this whole drug supply thing gets into a blockchain? So anybody who's taking a medicine should be able to check the authenticity, the originalness of that, from where it is manufactured, what were the ingredients, and so on and so forth. These all things are possible today. It's very much possible. We only need to put this technology onto it. Another thing which Secretary also mentioned is we have been always saying digital inclusion is at the underlying theme of Digital India. And we've been always saying, how do we really reach to that bottom of the pyramid? Now, to reach to these people, language becomes one of the major barriers. Second is the dialect part of it. The way we are trying to solve today this problem of multilingual and all, this whole today has to go a profound change. The way we address has to go. Today you can see the way they are trying to convert our speech to text and accuracy is so high. So with this kind of technologies, I should be able to develop my application only in English. And then the person on the other end should be able to converse, receive as well as input information into the language and dialect he or she understands. He doesn't even need to be, so to say, literate and things like this. But to this to happen, yes, technology is there, but we need to do far more work, because while this technology has really become excellent as far as English is concerned, and maybe many more languages, maybe some of the Indian languages also, I don't have a personal information, but we need to make this happen across all Indian languages. And then we have those large number of dialects. And that is, while that is a challenge, that's a huge opportunity for you, us as well. And we should really capitalize on that because now we know how to do it. We only need to sit down to that and do it. And that should be taken as opportunity by many of in this room and see that how do we make these languages come to a level where you develop application once in English and it becomes accessible to every Indian irrespective of any barrier of language, literacy, or technology. That's where when we can reach, that's where we can make we can really make those people empower with the power of technology. My last suggestion to many of you is that many a times when we do these new technologies, we are trying to always, trying to conceive a new project, trying to formulate a new project. I think we should not take that approach. That approach, we should rather try and look small applications of intelligence, small application of analytics in your existing program. Why so? Because whether it is analytics, whether it is intelligence, they heavily rely on the data underneath. And your existing systems you already have. I have seen some systems where we have 10 years of data, sometimes 20 years of data. We should really capitalize on this data, and these existing systems, we should start introducing small components of these intelligence or analytics and make them more effective. Because if you look at it, the applications which were there in the past, whether it is, they were primarily focusing on increasing efficiency, they were focusing on automation, they were on omni-channel kind of a thing, they were focusing if cloud, your time to go live. So efforts were on that direction. But these technologies can make a different change. They can really change the way you operate. They can also change the impact and the experience. They can actually get that wow factor in all these applications we develop. They can not only enable the end user, the citizen who's accessing, it can also enable and equip the government officials who are operating in system to be more effective, to be more accurate, and so on and so forth. Thank you.